I, my bad, y'all, because I did, and I say this because I was in the process of filming this, and I got a phone call. I didn't want to edit it out, but it just shook me for a minute. But yes, I'm gonna redo this video. Y'all, like, okay, Real Housewives of Potomac. I prefer Real Housewives of Atlanta over Real Housewives of Potomac. This is a new addition to the Real Housewives franchise. Let me get my words straight before one of them bitches see this video and be like, this ghetto trash. You know, that's what they give me. They so pretentious. Like, I just, they give me that mean girl. You can't sit with us because you A, don't have the money, B, you don't have the class, C, you don't have the etiquette, and D, you're just trash. You know, that's what they give me. Ugh. Okay. So this is the new addition to the Real Housewives franchise, and I've watched just about every season from every division or series that there was to the franchise of the Real Housewives, starting from Orange County. The only thing is, Orange County, I started off in season 2, you know, but I know about just about everybody. And I still watch. Even though Orange County is becoming dull, I will still watch it, you know. They done went through some things, you know. Slade done fuck just about everybody on the, you know, the whole cast or whatever, damn near. Vicky and, oh, that shit in the last season where Vicky and her mother passed away, and then come to find out Brooks, that whole shit about he playing around with his cancer and stuff. Girl, I be watching, you know, made fake letters and shit about, girl, it's just too much. And then we have the Real Housewives of, the only ones that I haven't seen is the Real Housewives of, what is it, Melbourne? The Australian one. I haven't seen that yet. I might get into it later. But the now defunct one, Real Housewives of Miami, I actually like that. What was the lady that, my favorite character? My favorite character was the lady with the who face was messed up from too much surgery, because she told it to him straight. But the white lady that was on there, I can't remember her name. I cannot remember her name, but she was like the queen bee of the whole cast. She knew everybody. You know, that's who Karen reminds me of. But Karen is not likable. That lady from Miami, she was actually kind of likable, and she was kind of helpful. Even if it was a disguise, she was still kind of likable, kind of helpful. But Karen on here, she just, we'll get to it in a second. And then you have Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know, and of course I love that, you know, whatever, that gives us good keys. We all watch it or whatever. That's when we come together, gets our tweets off. And the reason why I like, even though I don't really care for the women like that, I don't have a favorite, I don't dislike, I don't like, you know, like that, I don't have a team this, team that, and I still watch it because even though that whole cast, they showed them coming up. They have some to a lot of money or moderate success or whatever, and they have a certain type of stature, but they're still somewhat relatable to us everyday folks. You know, they have their ratchet ways, they have their hood rat ways a little bit, if you want to say that too, but they're still somewhat down to earth where we as regular black folks or whoever that's watching can relate. You know, they seem much more real compared to this one, Potomac, okay? And then you have, you know, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, bitch. I love that. I love it for this reason. I be sitting there watching it from day one, and I'm like, look at these rich. When Adrienne Maloof was on there, like, she was one of the richest ones. I was like, and y'all still got all this. See, money don't buy your happiness or nothing like that. But they be on there arguing over the pettiest and smallest stuff, and I'm sitting here like, y'all really got this argument going on? Like, this is stupid. But I be sitting here watching like, girl, yeah. You know, they thinking about putting it out there that freaking Yolanda lying about her or she got, what is it? What is it? When they be faking illnesses to get attention and stuff. It begins with an M. I can't, it's at the tip of my tongue. As soon as I turn this off, I'ma remember it. but about her Lyme disease and stuff like that. And then my favorite one is Lisa Vanderpump, because that's just my bitch. All right, she don't give a shit. Did y'all see last week's episode when she just sat there and questioned Eileen about her marriage and her affairs and all that stuff, and didn't give two fucks that she was being offensive a little bit, or the girl might felt the way and didn't want to talk. She just kept on asking all these questions. And I love her tagline: I love dogs, but I don't like or do bitches. I said, come on, Lisa. I love it. But this Real Housewives of Potomac, I just don't know about it. I'm going to try to hang in there as much as I can. But, y'all, they already started off on the wrong foot. Like, it just reminded me, and they gave me such this feel, a few of them, because they kept on throwing out this word etiquette. Oh, that's not proper etiquette. Oh, Potomac. No one can just come into Potomac. Potomac is like one of the richest secluded areas in the world. You have to have money, you have to have stature, you have to have fame, you have to have status and all this stuff to come in to Potomac, okay? You just can't come up in here. My husband is this, I did that, and yada yada yada, and da 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 da. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, girl, your husband did all this, but what have you done? Exactly, what have you done? When your husband go away, and let's say he don't leave you nothing in your will, what have you done? What will you have? That's what I feel like. But I don't know. It just gave me the feel, because I went to school. Y'all know, if y'all don't know, out here, I went to a magnet high school, Whitney M. Young, and Whitney Young, he was part of the civil rights era, and so I was blessed to be in a school that actually, had courses on African American history, and who actually, talked in depth about a lot of stuff that I'm pretty sure that they didn't talk in other high schools or in other schools about African American history. This is where I learned about the Divine Nine, the Greeks, the Black Greek life, and, where it started. And we went in depth about it, and, about the Jack and Jill clubs. That's what they act like. About the Blue Blood clubs, you know what I'm saying? And if you ain't never heard of the Blue Blood, that was when you had to be light-skinned enough that I can see your veins through your skin. Like, clearly. Like, if you was to look at my hand, you can clearly see mine, for real. Like, you can always see my veins. I just hope I don't get varicose veins, because, I'm just saying. But it just, it was about, and we talked deeply about, the dissension and the racism, the tension and the, the shit that went on, and within our own African American community of the light skin versus dark skin, and stuff like that. And they give me all of that shit. I mean, I don't know. They just give me all that pretentious bourgeoisie, bougetto type of feel. I don't know, y'all. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. But we got 5 women. We have Giselle. Giselle, she's probably going to be someone I actually like for right now, because, not because she light skinned, but I was looking at this cast like, damn, is everybody biracial? And then somebody had to tell me a couple of them are, just light skinned or, whatever. And then the other 2, a couple of them are biracial or whatever. And the other 3 are, regular, just light skinned or something. Because I was like, so was that the plan? And then I said, oh, okay. But, whatever. It just struck me. Giselle kind of remind me like she could be related to Vanessa Williams. She gives me Lion Bay feel. That's her daughter. She gives me that a little bit. She got 3 kids, a set of twins, and twin girls, and a 10-year-old. And she said she was married at one point to Pastor Jamal Bryant. Mind you, he was on the latest episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta when they showed him at the Million Man March. But basically how she used to be over in that area, and then, she moved, and they got divorced, and she moved back to Potomac. Basically, she got divorced because he was hoeing around. Okay, fine. Then we get Katie. Katie is biracial. But Katie loves her some white boys. She like white boys, mostly white Jewish men, okay? That's who she gravitates towards. She has 3 kids that's under the age of 3 or 3 and under. You know what I'm saying? She was in a relationship or married and she got a divorce, and I don't know how that shit went about. But she is in this relationship with this other guy. I think his name is Jason. I could be wrong. But he just gave me metro tease. Like, he's a metrosexual. He was talking about his toenails and talking about his nails and all this stuff, which is nothing wrong with that because, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, I would like you to upkeep yourself, you know. Nothing wrong with going out and get a manicure and pedicure and making sure your cuticles are pushed back and your nails are intact, no hangnails and all that stuff. That's nice, and you groom nice, that's fine. And basically, she comes from a family. Father is black. I mean, father is white, mother is black. A philanthropic family doing all these charities and all this other stuff. She's a socialite. You know, her family gives away millions and millions of dollars each year to a lot of charities and stuff. And he just don't understand what it is, you know, why you got to go to this gala, why you got to go to that, and da 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 da. But this is the man that, you know, she eventually wants to marry. She see herself marrying again, you know, being in a second marriage with. Who else? So she didn't rub me the wrong way yet. They didn't really spend time on her. Um, who was the other woman? Robin. I like Robin because, you know, she didn't come off as if, oh, I'm better. And the other thing that I like Giselle for, Giselle was like, these bitches be talking about etiquette. Bump that. I'm doing me. I said, okay, girl, you do you. Okay? I mean, because you can find somebody that grew up in the hood, you know, who can speak properly, as you want to say, and who can hold themselves with so much class, and you would never know where they came from. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we need to stop that judging shit. But Robin, she been divorced for 3 years, but her thing is her husband or her ex-husband and her baby daddy still lives with her in the same house. They still co-parent, but they divorced, but they sleep in the same bed. So I'm like, are y'all playing hanky-panky under the covers too? What the heck is going on? He can't sleep in the guest room? But okay, but I like her. You know, she didn't rub me raw yet. Um, the main two that got on my nerves, Karen and Sharice, I think that's her name. Sharice got in her feelings because, first of all, she has a Hispanic, Latina housekeeper, and I was like, okay. And mean dude, minorities helping minorities, but she's the wife to the Washington, I think he used to be the Washington Wizards basketball coach. He goes out and recruits, and, you know, because of his job, I think he coaches the head coach now at Rutgers University, Rutgers University up there in New Jersey. He stays in New Jersey while she's out in Potomac. And I'm sitting here like, why don't you take the kids and y'all live in the same place? Okay, and you do what you got to do. Now, see, they was finna have this birthday dinner for Karen. We'll get on Karen in a minute. And at this dinner, this is when Giselle brings up, you know, their situation, Sharice's situation. And Sharice, she was just trying to act like everything was all cool. Like, I don't understand why people can't see, you know, that I'm fine with the fact that he's in New Jersey and I'm here. And, you know, oh, you ain't worried about him cheating when your man probably sitting here with you and been cheating on you right there in your face. And I was like, yeah, she hadn't. She don't want to let it out how she really feel, but she know that shit hurting her. And then here go Karen. I think the long distance stuff is kind of sexy. Okay, girl. And you know, we get Karen. Karen, I guess she wants to be the queen bee because I think she's the oldest of the group. She's married to this guy who she says is like the Black Bill Gates. He's the head of this IT firm or whatever. And y'all know IT, money. All right. But doing all this stuff, and she building her own self up on this pedestal of etiquette, and like she's in this lifestyle. You have to be this way, you have to be that way, as if she's been in this lifestyle. She was born in it, and she wasn't. Baby from the farm, and you can go right back to the farm, bitch. You know, I just did not like. I don't like people who all of a sudden come from nothing and then they come up and they act like they've been in this lifestyle for their whole lives, and they forget where they came from. Like, you ain't got to still act like you still living in the hood or whatever, but damn, you ain't got to be so pretentious and so uppity and acting like you better than everybody when you can, as quickly as you rose to that top, you can be quickly sent right back down to that farm milking that cow. Okay? That's what you could be doing. You know? And they had a birthday dinner for her. Katie was in her feelings a little bit because when Karen came, Giselle didn't get up. She was sitting in the middle. I mean, I understand them feeling that way because it is the birthday girl, so put her in the middle, fine. But she came late, bitch. I would have felt you want her to sit in the middle, you get your ass up and you let her scoot in, through that way. But what else? What else? Oh, I didn't even put this on Facebook. Let me put this on Facebook. What else? This situation with Sharice being upset that she was gonna have this crab thing, and she wanted Giselle to come over and help her with the crabs. Giselle brought a friend of hers who was a hairstylist, and she brought her with her. I understand where Sharice was coming from when she was like, "Don't bring." I mean, it's okay, but all you had to do was ask me if you was gonna bring somebody else, especially somebody that I don't know, to my home. That's understandable, but the way that she was reacting and acting when he was asking if you need help with the hair, you left them downstairs like they was less than. And then that little comment when they had the actual party and Sharice's friend was out there talking to Karen and Giselle, and Giselle was telling them how she felt because Sharice was upstairs talking some shit like, oh, they going through my cabinets, oh, they doing this and they doing that. But you left them down there to fix the food, right? So what the fuck they else was gonna do? Bitch, you left me down there to go get your hair and shit done like I'm the fucking help. So I'm finna go through your shit. Even though I understand, but bitch, come on now. Come the fuck on, okay? Get off your high horse, bitch. What she say? Karen gonna say in the confessionals, so you gonna come to somebody else and bring somebody else to your friend's home and walk around with the help. Basically calling Giselle's friend, who is a hairstylist, the help. I'm like, bitch, you come from the help too, okay? Is you smart? Is you intelligent? All right, girl, you come from the help, all right? You 3-day shot from the goddamn farm. Stop it. Stop this judgmental shit. Like, girl, stop. And I was just like, So they talking about it. The friend goes upstairs and tells Cherie about it. And I'm like, here we go. It was just so stupid. And then they get into an argument. Karen and Giselle get into an argument over the fact that Giselle didn't get up at the birthday party. Like, girl, can y'all really finna argue about that? And I was with Giselle. If you had a problem then, you should have addressed it then. Don't wait days later to talk to me about it. Just bring it up then and we could have just fixed it right then and there. Like, it was irking me and all this stuff. And, Karen, I don't like her. I just don't like her. I really don't. Like, did they even say what Karen did outside of her husband? I just want to know. I probably missed that part. But I guess a new girl's supposed to come on and she's not going to be, to their liking. Okay? And then that one scene when they did the preview and Katie and her dude was sitting there kissing and all that stuff. First of all, I was like, girl, y'all can't kiss right. You trying to search for his lips and stuff. His non-existent lips and shit. But, I mean, she got cool points for me from doing that because I was like, oh, okay, Miss Etiquette ain't too much to do some shit like that. That's what us regular niggas would do, some shit like that. But okay. I just don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. Y'all tell me if y'all want me to continue to review it. I just don't know, y'all. If I do review it, I'm going to be 100% honest and I'm going to go in on these pretentious assholes. It just makes me feel away because I just don't like when people put themselves up and make themselves feel better or seem better than anybody else. And then you're in a group and y'all supposed to be friends and you still trying to act like you better than your own friend. Like, I'm not down with that. But, I can't wait. I do want to see the episode when they start talking about whether Katie believes that she's African American or white, or the biracial issue, and I want to see how they handle that. But y'all tell me how y'all feel. If I missed something, put it down in the comments, and I'll see y'all later.